Welcome to the Christian Romance Podcast, where we go behind the books with inspiring Christian romance authors, exploring faith, love, and the journey that brings the story to life. I'm your host, Kelly Jo Wilson, and today we're chatting with Mary Connealy. Mary is a best-selling author known for her trademark blend of Western romance, humor, and faith. In this episode, she shares about her latest release, Legends of Gold. This is book 2 in her Golden State Treasure series set against the backdrop of 1870s California and packed with treasure hunts, found family, and unexpected love. With 79 books to her name, Mary continues to deliver heartwarming stories full of adventure and spiritual depth. Join us today as she shares the inspiration, humor, and heart behind her newest cowboy romance. And be sure to stay tuned to the end of the episode so you can hear more about our newest book giveaway. Now, here's my conversation with Mary. Hi, Mary. I am so happy to have you back on the Christian Romance Podcast. Thank you so much for coming back. You are now a friend of the show. You have been here multiple times, and it's always super fun to chat with you.
Yeah, I always have a good time. Thanks for having me on, Kelly.
Yes, I can't wait to hear about this new story. It looks fantastic. I love the characters. I read a little bit of the blurb and I just need more. But before we get into it, why don't you let our listeners know just a little bit about you and the kind of stories that you write?
I write what I call romantic comedy with cowboys, and they're historical westerns. And this one, I believe, is my 79th book. And
Amazing.
A very, very large majority of them fit into that genre. So, and I wanted to do a book about lost treasure, the Lost Dutchman mine or something for a long time, and I never could quite get it to be the top of the line. And so that's what I'm doing this time. We're searching for lost treasure in the Sierra Nevada mountains. So
it's very exciting. Very exciting. And 79, oh my gosh, 79 books. That is unbelievable, especially because talking to you before, I have to say, you, in telling your story the couple times, well, the first time that you were here and then the last time as well, we talked a little bit, how you just didn't think that you were cut out to do this. You were a stay-at-home mom, you were writing, it wasn't like this thing. It was seemingly very hard. You got some rejections and now like you're 79 books in. It's amazing.
Yeah. Nobody's more surprised than me that I ever amounted to anything. It's wonderful. It's just a true dream come true. And it really makes me believe that people should, chase after what they feel called to do in life because it can happen. So.
Oh, absolutely. And it's super inspiring, honestly, Mary. And just that you're so funny. Nobody's more surprised than me that I made something out of my life. Oh, you crack me up. But it's true. I mean, you just kept on pushing. You kept on going through rejections, through different things. And you listen to that call in your heart. And it's not easy to do. It takes a lot of courage. So I just want to call that out because that's really amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just wonderful. It's just been a great opportunity to do this with my life. So
wonderful. And you're making such an impact. So many readers just love your stories, especially the humor, because you are too funny in real life, IRL, and in the stories.
Oh, yes, the pressure. Oh no.
The pressure. She's going to be funny. Anyway, well, okay. So today we're here. We're talking about. Why don't you talk a little bit about the how you said the Lost Dutchman series? What is that? Because I read that in part of the press kit about the book too, and I was curious about that.
Well, it's a treasure hunt.
Okay,
it's a treasure hunt, and this family in New York City. Their grandfather, after their grandmother dies, he's setting out to look for gold. He's following the California gold rush. And all of a sudden they get this letter, this journal in the mail with all sorts of very weird and confusing notes from a grandfather that hardly knew how to write. So it's all very garbled. And their father then, that's this guy's son, the father of the children in this book, that are grown adults now, he sets off to find the father. He abandons the family. So this older brother has always hated this journal. He's hated this treasure. and then the little brothers are like, oh yeah, we want to go look for the treasure too. And that's kind of been the dynamic all the time. This Brody, that's book one, and his mother, who we begin the book with her finding out she's dead, and he's been working so hard to try to set up a life because their life has been so hard, because his mom trying to take care of them, and Brody trying to take care of him. And he comes home from college. He's going to be a doctor. He's going to make all their lives better, to find his mother dead, his father home for the first time in years and dying, and his brothers have vanished. His two little brothers, who are like, young adult teenage boys. So and he's devastated, and he has to stay to bury his father. Then he chases after the sons, who conned their way onto an orphan train, because they're not orphans. They ran away from their father, in fact, and their brother, they know right where he is, but they want to go to California. This is the only way they can figure out. So his brothers are just a couple of little con men, scamps. And when they get on the orphan train, the very nice lady who's trying to escort their group across the country, is Tilda. Tilda, my heroine of book 2. And she gets back, she loses them. She doesn't know where they went. She gets back to the orphanage, and the lady who's in charge of the orphanage says, you got to go find him. You can't do that. We have people that don't like these orphan trains to begin with, and you can't just say, well, I didn't see their dead bodies, I'm sure they're fine. You can't do that. So Brody's out chasing after him, and that's book 1. He finds his brothers, but they're determined to stay in California, and he's like, I got a job. I got to go back. And then Tilda shows up at the very end of book 1, and she's found the little brothers at last, and they're all right. And then book 2 begins on the ride home from town. I mean, it's like Brody gets married at the end to the daughter of this orphanage, this ranch where they run an orphanage. And book 2 is they meet Tilda catching up with the brothers, and they ride home to the ranch. And they asked Tilda if she wants to stay and be a teacher. And that's the beginning of book 1. So we have got a heartbeat between the end of one and the beginning of the other. So, and then Josh, that's the brother who lives on this ranch, one of the ranch owners, and he can't decide if he's fallen in love with her at first sight, or if he's just never really seen a woman before who wasn't, married to someone or anything. And he's just anyway. And then they're talking about this treasure, and it turns out Tilda has a fascination with treasure hunts and California history and all this stuff. And they say something about this journal, and she knows the answer to it. And they're just like, how do you know all this stuff? And she's like, I don't know. And anyway, so now she wants in on the treasure hunt, and Brody still wants to go home, and the brothers won't give it up. And anyway, so that's Legends of Gold. That's book 2, and that's Tilda there on the cover with Josh walking toward her, and they're going to go on the treasure hunt. So.
Well, that sounds super fun. So this is, because I remember talking to you about book 1, Whispers of Fortune, and Brody, which God love Brody. I love Brody. He has such a sense of duty for his family.
Yes.
Always wanting to take care of his family and doing all this. So, and then this, like you said, so this series kind of builds off of that. You said the Last Dutchman series, or it's kind of like loosely based.
It's called the Golden State Treasure, but I was looking into the Lost Dutchman mine, which
that's right. Okay.
On that. And it's just like this old guy who comes staggering in from the wilderness, I can't even remember where, with his saddlebags full of gold.
Oh.
And he dies. That truly happened.
Wow.
And they know where he was, but it's in this massive, and people have been looking for it for years. He says a few words like, I got to get back to my mine. I only touch part of it. And there's stories like that all over the mountains, the 7 cities of gold, the Spanish built, Coronado and all that stuff. And so there's just tales of lost fortunes all over. And the boys are all the way bought in, and Brody thinks it's stupid. And Tilda's like, I wouldn't mind looking for historical stuff. I don't have any ambitions to go find a gold mine, but who turns their back on a gold mine? But anyway, a part of the last book was they found just enough. So now they know there is something Grandpa did find something out there. And so that Brody's in, he's going to buy in, and Josh is who they need to take with him because Josh is tough. I mean, Josh is the guy who can actually go into those mountains with some hope of coming out alive. So Josh is going with him. So,
well, he's going too because he might have a little thing for Tilda and want to go and protect her.
Yeah, somebody's got to. So.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I love this setting. What year is this set in again? Remind me.
I would say it's 1873.
Oh, okay.
So it's 30 years after the 49ers, right? That's the gold rush. So we're right. But that's about when Grandpa went out in 59, 69, 79. It's a little before that. So it's been a long time, though, since Grandpa sent him that journal. And, he sent him that journal. There was no mail. The wagon trains. That was so. This journal was years getting to them, and then the dad to go back out had to go out with a wagon train. He couldn't just get on the train and go. So anyway, by the time we're doing it, these trains are zipping across the country, which is so funny to think. It only takes 2 weeks to get from New York to San Francisco, and it's just like wide-eyed wonder. And now we'd look at that and like 2 weeks. Are you crazy?
2 weeks? I can't be doing 2 weeks.
I don't have 2 weeks to spare. So
I know.
Anyway.
6-hour flight, and we're like, 6 hours.
A layover, 4 hours. I gotta sit in that airplane. Yeah. So changed world, but at the time the train, and I tried to capture that too. What a wonder it is that Brody says, well, maybe I'll go back to Boston and work, and you guys can stay here. And it's just a conceivable thing for him to just go home for the winter, maybe. So anyway.
So yes, I love Brody. So let's talk. So you mentioned a little bit about Tilda and Josh. So Tilda is the one who she runs the ranch, right? She's the one. Does she help run the ranch, or she finds the boys?
The orphan who was running the orphan.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so Tilda's the orphan. Okay,
yes. So
okay.
She's been chasing after these boys, and I mean, Tilda is someone who's just lived her life on the edge of disaster. Her earliest memories are of running on the streets of New York with a group of children. And she'd get caught up and be sent to an orphanage, and the orphanage was almost worse than the streets. And then she'd escape again, and then she'd get cut. And she finally gets adopted by 2 people who just turn her mostly into a servant. So there's not a lot of love there, but at least there's food. And but the one thing she got from being adopted is her adoptive father was a history teacher, and he gave her a love of history. And she's read all his books, and he had at home, and she knows all this history stuff. So they're finding these clues about long ago California history, and she knows stuff that makes sense. Who, so anyway, so she's a real big addition to this search because she really understands some of the stuff they haven't been able to figure out. So
oh, that's neat. So she really is pretty educated, having her adoptive father be the teacher. And if she's reading all these books, then especially if I love the treasure hunt, the whole treasure hunt thing, because there's always going to be some like obscure clues and different things that you would need somebody who like knows history and knows a little bit more than just, hey, I want gold.
Yeah, there's this whole conquistador thing with Cortez and there's a Captain Cabrillo, but this is all 300 years ago, But they think they found some evidence that he got inland in California, and there's no record of that. So, so that historically that fascinates her, and she wants to know more. So anyway.
That's really fun. That's really fun. So what about Josh? What's little tidbits of his backstory?
Josh went to sea, which actually he left his family, the family ranch, and he went to sea for years, and he comes home, and he's finally home to stay. And so he's kind of settling in, and his brother is married, and he's trying to find his place at the ranch. And his brother's married, and they've gone off during a slow season to stay with his wife's family for a while. And so Josh is running the ranch, and the beginning of the book is his brother Zane comes home and sort of picking up the reins of the ranch again, and it's a difficult relationship. And so there's some of the clues they find are this guy who they sailed into the inland of California. It was sailing. Some of this stuff makes sense to him in this journal. It's obviously been copied down by this grandfather that probably couldn't have read it, but it makes sense to Josh. So Josh then is able to really help crack some of the mysteries in that journal too.
Oh, that's really fun. Did he go off to sea like with the military, or was he?
I think he just went off to be a sailor. He didn't really feel like there was a place for him at that ranch, and then he finally just got tired of it and wanted to be home, wanted to be with his family, and so his parents have died, and he just I don't know. He's just a part of him growing up, but he knows a lot of stuff about the world that help. So anyway,
that's pretty cool. I love how everybody kind of has their own role in the hunt itself, because that makes it really fun, because it's one thing to like really have the motivation to go find this gold, which I'm sure everybody would have a motivation for that, right? Because they want to be well off, and then that's a difficult time period too. Like 1873, like you said, I mean, it's 2 weeks to get from one side of the country to the next. It's not easy. It's difficult, there's different things that they have to face. It's really tough, so, but I love that you have like each one of them is kind of like sharing a little tidbit of some knowledge. They all need each other, really.
Yeah. At the end of the last book, Brody gets shot. He's not dead, but he's badly hurt. So now all of a sudden, Brody and his new wife, they're not going to be able to go on the treasure hunt, which Josh went with them and helped them find their way. Well, now Josh is going to lead it because Brody can't go. He's not in good shape. Because I had to figure out a way for poor Brody not to go. Why wouldn't Brody go? It seemed mean to shoot him, but it had to be done. So there you go. So Josh is the tough one. He's really with a bunch of people that are just clueless out in the wilderness, and and he's saying something like, "Well, this looks like what used to be a riverbed," and they're just all of them are looking at it like, "There's no riverbed." And he's like, "Well, 300 years ago, I think there might have been, and I think they sailed inland and maybe got stranded when an earthquake maybe sunk this river, and there they were." So that's what they think. That's where they think all these guys came from, that they're finding remains and evidence and stuff like that. So anyway,
That's really
Josh
cool.
is the tough one. He's just trying to. Tilda has all the historical knowledge, and those boys are just harebrained, and he's just trying to keep them alive, and everybody's trying to get him to grow up. Like, you just can't look for gold all your life. You need to think what you want to do for a living. Oh, we just want to have so much gold. We don't have to think about that, So they're trying to get the boys to grow up and be men. It's time to be a man. And some of the things you're doing is not what we want good Christian men to grow up to be. And then they run this orphanage too. So they've got a lot of experience with kids that have they've learned to kind of lie and cheat and steal their way through life just to survive. And, so we try to talk about that. And anyway, so.
Remind me the name of the orphanage. Is it Two Hearts?
It's called the Two Hearts Orphanage. The ranch is the Two Hearts Ranch, and it's Josh Hart. And his brother Zane Hart, and then they've got two sisters, one who's a widow, and she's going to be the heroine of book 3.
Oh,
so, Annie, and then there's little sister Ellie Hart, who Brody met when he came in all mad. So looking for people who took his brothers.
Oh, mad! I know, thinking she took his brothers away from him.
What have you done to them? She's
frenemy or
us. They're crazy. I know they are. That sounds like them. You have them. I get
enemies to lovers in 24 hours.
Really?
Or enemies to friends, right? Enemies to frenemies a little bit.
There you go.
In a quick time.
The very first night, Brody's a doctor, right? So the very first night that he's there, after all the screaming match and then the relief when he finds his brothers, he gets called in to deliver a baby, and Ellie goes to help. And she's got stars in her eyes after that. So that's pretty quick turnaround for her because she
Yeah.
just loved it. She loved delivering that baby. So
Oh, absolutely. Any woman with the baby delivery, it's
yeah,
very moving.
yeah. So
Very
anyway,
moving.
so Josh and Tilda grew up in an orphanage. Then she was adopted for a few years till those elderly people died, and then she went back to the orphanage to work. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, she gets a telegram to the Two Hearts Ranch that says, your father has come to the orphanage looking for you, from the lady who sent her west. You got to get back here. And she's like, I don't want to go back there. What are you talking about? I don't have a father. And that sort of story unfolds through the book too. So anyway,
leaving a little cliffhanger about the father info. That is very interesting. An interesting little subplot going on too.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to ask you, actually, just kind of what pressed on your heart about the theme of this story, and like the family dynamics, because there's, like you said, Josh and his brother Zane are kind of at odds. And then you have this where the father kind of, comes into the picture out of nowhere. Tilda's like, what are you talking about? It's like obviously going to mess with her identity that she's known her whole life as an orphan and then adopted to another family.
Yeah.
So what pressed on your heart about that?
Well, the fundamental rule I'm trying to do, and we do it with the titles and Riches Beyond Measure is the title of the third book. But, what we're really trying to talk about is to lay up your treasures in heaven. And so she's spent her whole life without anybody. And now she's got this father, and she's got a brother and a sister. And they all like, we love you. We've been looking for you forever. Come home. And she's like, I don't know you and I don't love you, but maybe I could if I ever knew you. But in the meantime, I'm really happy here. And so she's battling with that, and they're trying to get her to come home. And then Josh is like, when they wouldn't tell you, they wouldn't take you if you were a married woman. They'd never consider that. So, and then he's got to kind of talk her into that. And she's like, mainly because she really wants to so much that she thinks that's not really a good reason to get married. Just because I'm scared and I need help. We need more than that. So anyway, in the meantime, Josh is like, I don't need more than that. I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh, good old puppy dog Josh. He's like, no, I'll take care of you.
So anyway, so it's almost a marriage, not of convenience. I mean, they're drawn to each other. They're they are interested in each other, but it's just ridiculoly too soon, right? I mean, they've met a week ago, maybe two. So anyway, that's her life, and then Josh's life, and they're pretty good things with Zane, but it just adds some tension there at the ranch, and then he's getting drawn away to go do this treasure hunt, and he really wants to go because Tilda's going, but he knows somebody's got to go, but he also sees Zane stepping back in, and now everybody's calling him boss. All the cowhands he's been the boss all this time. Zane has only been back for about a year, so he kind of feels like he's losing his place on the ranch by getting into this treasure hunt. And anyway.
Well, that's tough. I mean, that's a lot of different dynamics, though. That's really interesting. And it just creates so many layers because Josh, is going to be going through that certain thing and his own identity, too. I mean, if his brother's coming in and, his brother's the real boss, like, what am I? What was I? What have I been doing this whole time? And then same with Tilda, especially if she's happy where she is and then has this other family, I mean, the curiosity alone that she would have is like fundamental to like who she really would choose to be, that's a really big deal. And then marriage of convenience in any way, shape, or form is always fun.
Yeah. So anyway.
That was one of the next things I was going to talk to you about is the tropes, what tropes we could expect in this book. Or for the romance, even like for the romance tropes too.
Well, we have a bad guy. We have a lost treasure. We have a marriage of convenience. And the orphan trains. That makes a nice backdrop to it, I think.
Oh,
we
yeah.
deal with that a little bit because she's dealing with her boss from back there. So,
anyway. Oh, yeah. Lots. I definitely like the treasure hunt too. And then
Yeah.
found family too, right? I mean, you would
Yeah.
say think, even if she not like giving anything away with what might happen with her and her actual family, but just even found family with how she was an orphan and
Yeah.
has this at the
Yeah.
ranch,
And
the people
Tilda's
that she
just
loves.
she's just torn up about this. She's unbelievably fascinated by this possible family, but she's also really angry. How did I end
Mhm.
up growing up alone when and there's a lot of answers, and the answers don't make her very happy because there was a lot of carelessness that went into what happened to
Mm.
her. And so, and anyway, I don't know what all to tell you. I'm trying to not tell you everything because there's just
Yes,
a
don't
few
tell me.
things.
No spoilers, no spoilers.
Yeah, because at first she just thinks, well, this is a mistaken identity. You don't remember me. I was 5 when I got dumped on the street. I mean, that's her earliest memory anyway. So anyway,
Yeah. That's great. I mean, it's just a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff, Mary.
yeah,
Um, but so we are almost at time. So I was going to ask you. So you said earlier about like kind of this whole series is really because of the treasure aspect, right? It's like lay up your treasures in heaven, right?
yeah,
Because we all have to focus on Jesus, right? And focus on God, or else we can very easily stray away. So do you have a specific verse? Is that the verse that you would say would be tied to this book?
yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
That's the one that we will just have riches beyond measure, really, in the next life. So we just need to not focus on that, but rather live this life for the next life. So anyway, yeah,
Oh, yeah. That's wonderful. And it's so true. It really is. And whenever it's funny because it's so easy to get swept up with the everyday,
oh
like
yeah.
running around and the everyday, this and that and just
All the
rushing.
things you have to do
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
just to get through this day, and then yeah, and then make sure you got your eyes on the right in the right place for God. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always think about that whenever I think about the parable of the virgins, preparing and,
and they don't have their enough oil. Yeah.
mhm,
Hmm.
mhm. Always making sure that, you're ready and you're doing what you can for, like you said, for laying up your riches in heaven and for getting ready for the next life because it really is so important. It's so important to it always the most important thing I feel like if we can't do anything, if we can't remember one thing, just keep your eyes focused on Jesus because
Yeah.
he'll always give you that comfort and he'll always guide
And,
you.
and one of the strong backgrounds of it is these 2 boys who are just treasure mad. And
Mm,
them, everybody's kind of got their own, they're all trying not to have gold fever. At the same time, they're very fascinated by it. And we're trying to raise those boys up to be solid men with their priorities in the right place. And so they're kind of the comedy and the turmoil and that goes on in the background of this, and everybody's kind of like, come on back here, there's a blizzard, you can't go into the mountains. So they're just crazy.
well, that's such a good way to show it too, right? Because we all
I
have
think
these
so.
brokenness
watch their
parts.
watch their character based
Yeah.
against mature character, and just have them discuss, how do you want to live your life. And then the orphanage is the background, same thing. They're trying to get all these kids who have really had to live pretty shifty lives, to survive, and try to get those kids to a place where they're mature and that they have some goals and some hope, for life. So
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I love how you do that. I love how you just show this through their journeys and you interweave everyone's journey together. I think that that's just brilliant.
thank
Um,
you.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And fun too, like you said. I mean, they're scamps, right? So we're like
Yeah.
watching these kids like, oh my goodness. Meanwhile, God is up there. I can't tell you how many times I was just telling my husband this the other day. I'm like, God is probably like, stop doing this. Just stop going down that way. Like how many times?
Yes, yes, very
Uh,
much so for all of us, I'm
for
sure.
all of us. Yes, for all of us. There's a little bit of the scamps in all of us, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. Well, thank you so much, Mary. Why don't you let our listeners know where they can best connect with you and then also get a copy of this book?
Um, uh, I've got a website, maryconnealy.com, and you can find pretty much everything through that. I'm on Facebook, and my books are listed on BookBub, and Baker Bookhouse has a good catalog of all my books. So besides Amazon, of course, if you click to follow me on Amazon, you should get an email every time I have a book come out. So that should simplify your life if you don't want to miss a single book.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And definitely go to Mary's website. Check out the newsletter. I love your website. It's super fun. You have everything linked there. You have your books, like your book list that you can download to make it for easy reading for all of these series, which is really, really helpful especially for newer listeners or newer readers that might be listening.
Yeah, and I do send out a newsletter. I pretty much just send one out when a book comes out because I just don't want to. It doesn't seem to work, not to me, to just get newsletters all the time. I've got people helping me with my newsletter, and they're like, you really should send out a few more. I don't want to, but maybe I should. But I always think if you see a newsletter from me in your inbox, you're like, oh, Mary's got a book. You don't have to think, what recipe is she going to try to get me? Pictures of the grandkids, although they're very cute. So I don't know about that.
Well, you also have that Facebook group too, right? The Petticoats?
I do. I'm on a blog called Petticoats and Pistols, and we do Western romance there. And there's 14 of us, I believe, now. And it just lots of fun there. And I post there once a month. And they have a Facebook group really pretty fun group. So
yes, for sure. And I will link to the Facebook group also in the show notes. So anybody listening can just go right there and click on there and get in that group and just enjoy it because it's very fun.
It is. They do good work there, and I'm the least of it comes from me. So
just stop. Oh my gosh, you're the best. And just thank you so much, Mary, for writing these awesome stories. And they're just super fun. And we love the Western romance. And it's just such a joy always to chat with you and have you here.
Thanks for having me on, Kelly. I love doing it. Can't wait till next time.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with one book lover like yourself. We love to bless as many people as we can with fun behind-the-scenes interviews and, of course, great books. This month, we're having a classic Christian romance book giveaway. One blessed winner will receive a bundle of 5 timeless Christian romances, including favorites like Love Comes Softly and Redeeming Love. These are the stories that shaped Christian romance as we know it, filled with faith, redemption, and lasting love. The giveaway ends September 30th, so don't wait. Whether you're listening right when the episode drops or tuning in later, you can always find the latest giveaway at christianromancepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, keep your faith, share the love, and happy reading.